Hi, it's Kim, and thanks for joining the channel today. Today we're going to talk about my growing the African milk tree plant. It's getting very, very big. I had last put a video up when it was about 15 inches high, other than the one when we first purchased it. It's been about not quite 2 years since we got it. We got it in April of 2019. Now I have a lot of more information over on the blog post on the website, thehypertufagardener.com, and I'll reference that with a link here in the description. But the African milk tree plant now is about 36 inches high. Now I'm including the pot. I think that pot is maybe about 6 inches high, and I think its inside diameter is about 6 inches. But I am shortly going to try repotting this because it's getting just so tall and top heavy. I think it needs a little more weight in the bottom. But this one is the Euphorbia Trigona Rubra because it has all the red leaves and sometimes a reddish tint to the column. It kind of has a little tortoiseshell look. There are some close-ups over on the blog where you can see that tortoiseshell a little more closely. But the leaves dry up, fall off, regrow, and you can see the way those leaves look. It's just about needing to be watered because it does kind of send little signals. You can see the leaves start to get a little deflated. One thing you don't want to do is overwater these because, as any succulent would be, they're susceptible to root rot. So just be careful. Now the plant is itself just a little bit finicky because it doesn't like to move. I had brought it downstairs to film on my last video, and it just threw a tantrum, dropped leaves and everything. I had it in the same amount of light down there for several days, but it just doesn't like being moved. It wants to stay in the light it's used to. My daughter rotates it fairly often. Now my grandson is helping me film this, and he's climbing up on a chair so he can point downward into the plant so that you can see it just a little bit better from the top. That shows a little bit of the rubra on the stem a little bit, but that's what the top growth looks like. Now I did a little bit later, I'll switch over to an evening view. It's a little hard to get a good sight with the light bright and shining inward right here. Can't get a good light, but I'm needing to clean that up, maybe freshen it with some new stone, but we'll be doing that this spring. Now here in the evening when it's getting dark and dim outside, I do have a light on, but it just more makes the plant glow. Now, I have not yet tried to propagate this, but I understand that you can just take cuttings off the top, let them dry and callus for a few days, and then put them into soil and see what happens. Should grow roots within a few weeks. And I am hoping when I am ready to propagate this that I could stimulate maybe some extra stems to grow out the sides, because I'd really like to see what it looks like with stems. But this is a euphorbia. You have to be careful when you cut it. Soak it, let some of that sap drain out because it is irritating to the skin, some more susceptible than others. So just be careful with it. Don't let your dogs, cats, animals, or babies get in touch with that. You can see where it's swaying, where we swiveled it around a little bit. They are top heavy. I'm going to transplant it in a Hypertufa pot, I think, shortly. I've got a picture of that over on the blog, so be sure and check that out. But I do think it's a really pretty plant, fast growing, very leafy. We've never seen any flowers yet, but flowers would be unusual in an indoor plant. Now, outdoors, when it grows 6 feet high, you might be more likely to get it, but here in Ohio, we can't keep these outdoors all year. But I hoped you liked this tour to see the progress, see those little spines that grow, and you can sure tell when the leaves are throwing a tantrum and dropping off, and you might need to feather dust every so often. But pin the video, and thanks for joining me today.